Hello there. My name is Ruth Haruna, and I am your parenting coach for the day. I'm so excited to be reaching out to you, watching this video today. I just want to really, really appreciate all of you for, watching the videos and always giving me your feedback. It's been a couple of, it's been a minute since I posted last, on this YouTube channel. However, I'm excited to get back here. So today I just want to briefly talk about our jobs as parents. We have a very, very tricky task of raising the next generation. And I strongly believe that parents are the most trusted and the most reliable uh, adults in the life of a child. And so it's very important for parents to work on being consistent and showing up for the child. So that's basically what we're going to be talking about briefly today. Yeah. So we live busy lives, right? We're always busy, running around, work, family stuff, an extra, an extra, an extra. There is always something to do. Yeah. And sometimes it can be quite difficult for us to show up for the children in our very best versions. And so we go through the motions, we go through the days and the weeks, just eager for the time when we can rest. And sometimes we get so tired that we find ourselves snapping at the children, yelling at them, or even just not paying attention to either what they are saying or what their needs are. And if you know me very well, I always say when I refer to children's needs, I'm not just talking about their physical, physiological needs of food, shelter, clothing, education, but also their emotional needs. So, yeah, that is the fact of life. Sometimes we are so busy, but I'm here to encourage you to show up for the child. So, what does it mean? What does it mean to show up for your child? Sometimes when we say things like that, it feels like, oh, you're talking about being there for the child 24/7. Not necessarily. Showing up for your child can mean asking them the question that you need to ask them when they look down, when they look distracted, when something is off. Showing up the child also means spending time with them. The time must not be plenty. It's the focus is not quantity, the focus is quality. So if I say I will spend 5 minutes with my child every weekend, then that's time that I'm setting aside needs to be focused on discussing things that matter to the child, not necessarily just things that matter to me as a parent to make parenting easier for me. So showing up for my child means focusing on the things that matter for the child. Now, talking about this might sound like, oh, I have a life. As a parent, I also have a life. I also should focus on myself and all that, which is very, very true. And on one of our episodes, we'll be talking about self-care and how taking care of yourself as a parent translates into providing quality care for your child. And so we're not undermining the importance of caring for yourself and being healthy. We're just saying that it's important to balance the two. While you're caring for yourself and paying attention to yourself, you also need to be careful to pay attention to your child. You could support the child with homework. You could support the child with their sports, their interests. So the question I have for you today is, what is your child's interest? Do you know? Ask the child, chat with the child about what they love doing, hang out with the child for the period that you have, the time you have, doing what the child is interested in doing. Showing up for your child also means when they make mistakes, which I want to remind you, parents, making mistakes and failure are fundamental parts of the development of your child. You don't want a child that is protected and shielded from mistakes and failures. You want a child that experiences failures and mistakes in life. Why? Because those two things are very, very crucial lesson teachers. They teach your children lessons that they need in life. So making a mistake is not the end of their lives. Making a mistake of failing, whether it's a test, they fail, or they fail you or disappoint you, in that moment when your child fails you and disappoints you, remember that you need to be consistent in showing up for that child. Yes, correct the child in the area that the child needs correction. Yes, provide the tips that the child needs to equip themselves with the skills needed to ensure that mistake does not happen again. But one key and important thing to do is to make sure that your child understands that they can learn from their mistakes, learn from their failures, and move forward from it. So your child might already be kicking themselves for making that mistake. They might already be really feeling terrible about, you know, what happened. So it's my job, it's your job to show up for the child in that moment and to just speak to the child about how things will get better, encourage them, and remind them that they have an opportunity for a better future, right? So show up for your children also when they are struggling with friendships, show up for them. Sometimes just help them. Help them do something that they are grown up enough to do for themselves. For instance, fixing their shoelace. You're passing by, see they're struggling with it. You could just bend down and just help them out or help them carry their backpack. These are not things you have to do for your children always, but once in a while, especially when they are transitioning from age 10, 11, 12 into adolescence, is very important for you to pick up on some of these things and do for your children. So my challenge to you today, parents, is be consistent in showing up for your children. Show up for them, make them know that you are there to listen. Even when you're busy, you might be busy on the laptop doing your work. Tell them you will pay attention to them when you're done, if it's not an emergency, and then wrap up and then go create time to listen to them. So I hope you will remember this tip today, and I hope that you will remember to support your children when they make mistakes, when they're experiencing a failure, or when they even disappoint you. Remember that being consistent in showing up for our children is very, very important. It builds them up, it nurtures them, and it prepares them for life. All right. That's it from me today. Once again, it's me, Coach Ruth Haruna, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.